And yes, we welcome you live early on a Sunday afternoon to This is Wrestling. This is OSN. It is Lee Versage. It is Zach McGibbon. And Zach, as soon as I turn the background, you would think I would know how to do this. And I should have done it before, but there it is. Okay, how are you? Sunday, night one, SummerSlam, another full night ahead. What is going on in the world of Zach McGibbon?
Night one down, another night to go. I'm hunkering in there, getting ready to get myself mentally prepared for a whole weekend of pro wrestling. But I'm doing good. As you mentioned, I did watch all of night one, SummerSlam Saturday, Super Brawl Saturday. I don't know, but I whatever it's called, but I'm locked in. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to break down all the matches that took place during the Summerfest.
It is not Summerfest. I know you're saying that just to be funny, but okay, look, I think people expect us to be sarcastic and negative all the time about the WWE. So I'm
only that some of the time.
No, you're that
3/4 of the time.
99% of some of the time. Yeah. So I'm going to try very hard here to even Steven.
Safety Sam?
No, let's talk about in fact the opposite. Let's talk about the bad, because there was some bad, but let's prop up the good. Maybe I'll go over exaggeratory on the good to make up for it, because as you can see, my t-shirt, there was a lot of bruv. What are we watching?
Yeah.
However, SummerSlam night number one in Minnesota kicks off with the WWE Women's World Championship match between the champion, Liv Morgan, and Io Sky. We talked about it on the preview show. ESPN did Liv Morgan a dirty, saying she has not defended her belt in over 100 days since WrestleMania. You're like,
It just kind of goes to show how that partnership is going between the two, WWE and ESPN.
So you and I both had Liv Morgan in this match going in. I'm going to try to remember who we had before we do the review of each match. And okay, so this one starts off, and I'm going to let you take the reins here, but I will say, I thought this night started off okay for the WWE between Liv Morgan and Io Sky.
Yeah, this is a nice little sprint. I didn't think it was too bad. I was kind of coming into this being like, all right, let's see what the ring general Liv Morgan can do based on our viewing of the second episode of WWE Unreal, available now to listen, our review on that. So yeah, I thought it was a nice little sprint. Started to pick up after because of course you couldn't have a WWE match without some sort of a run-in or interference. And in this case, the run-in interference was very not effective. They had two people run in, and they still went on to continue to have a match after that.
I think they're just still lying there.
Yeah, I think that's also true. I think that's also very, very true. But I think it after that initial run-in, it did start to pick up, and they got into a bit of a sprint. And then the finish of the match, they did go pretty quickly into, and when I mean quickly, I mean they like a sprint. They got into their spots. It wasn't too bad. I thought this match was better than their Queen of the Ring match, where it just kind of felt like it was there. In some cases with Io Sky, you'll hear some people say that she's one of the best women's wrestlers in the world.
I heard Michael Cole, who we're going to talk a lot about, I have a feeling, on this.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, there's a lot to say about old Michael Cole on this night.
Michael Cole starts things off with Io Sky might just be the best wrestler in the world.
Period.
Not women's wrestler, but just best wrestler in the world. And while I think Io Sky is a pretty good wrestler compared to some of the people they have on their roster. In no person's top 10 or top 20 best wrestlers alive today would Io Sky appear on that list. So
not for me either. And it's not like she's got much to work with in the women's division currently that could really, like, maybe Charlotte at this stage of her career, Rhea Ripley, of course. Again, who am I to doubt the ring general Liv Morgan? But I other than that, it's not much to really showcase that. So you could maybe make the argument there. But you know, having said all of that and you know, getting all my jokes off, at the end of this, I thought this was a nice little sprint, and this might have been one of my more favorite match. I'd have to think about it as we get through this review, but considering what else was on the card, but this might have been one of the better matches on the show to kind of kick things off and set the tone for the rest of the first night of SummerSlam.
So I'm interested, though, in your term, nice little sprint. You texted that to me last night. You've said it twice here today. This was the second longest match of the 6 matches that they had. And I'll push back on you a little bit. Like, I'll let you define a nice little sprint. But if I'm booking Liv Morgan and Io Sky, and I'm looking to do a little bit more than a Monday Night Raw match, I need a pay-per-view match, but I'm probably pretty sure that Liv Morgan's not going 20 plus minutes and delivering, you know, a really, really great match. I'm probably booking it right in around the 13, 14 minute mark. So I think that they did a really nice job here. Like, there wasn't too many screw ups. I thought Liv Morgan looks a little bit better sometimes when she's in the ring with people like Io Sky. While Io Sky might not be a top 10 wrestler, men or women in the world, she's pretty good for them. And she does have that ability to bring other people to her level. And you do have to go a little bit quicker. You have to be a little bit better when she is in the ring. So, what do you think about the finish? So I agree with you about, I don't know what this, like, let's just take Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez and say that they did not come out in this match. They just never appeared. And Liv Morgan won the exact same way in which she did at the end of this match. Would it not be better for Liv to have just beat Io Sky the way that she did at the end? I don't like interference to me, and we'll talk. There was some more interference, if you can believe it, as the night went along. Yeah. But I guess I try to look at why the writers are putting in interference in a match. Like, what are they trying to get to at the end of the day? And sometimes I'm able to come up with it. Sometimes I'm not. And this one, I absolutely was not. Like, I have no idea why those two were out there. We know they're part of the Judgment Day. But for Liv Morgan to have beat Io Sky clean without interference, which she pretty much did anyway, because the interference is almost in the middle of the match. Yep. And to go back to the dressing room and say, I might not have wrestled a lot, but when I do, they go down and I beat people clean and they can't keep up to me. Isn't that better for her? So that's where I don't quite understand it. I thought it was really weird that the interference came and then Io Sky did her patented moonsault off the top rope to the floor on Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez, and they just laid there for like minutes. The new Women's Intercontinental Champion just laid there and laid there and laid there. And the match went on for 3, 4, 5 minutes after that before Liv Morgan was able to win. So I don't quite get that. What'd you think of the finish?
Yeah, I agree with your point on that. It's who could believe that the WWE would overcomplicate themselves when it comes to putting together a match, where it's like they're probably the only thing I can think of when it comes to the interference is that they had a concern that they were going to lose the crowd midway through the match. So they felt, because the way that the WWE crowds are conditioned are that run-ins like means something's happening. So they probably did it where we're worried we're going to lose the people in the middle of the match. So let's get this run-in so we could get the crowd back and then get the next set of spots going for after the run-in. That's the only thing I could think of. Otherwise, if you're looking from a logical standpoint in terms of, do you really want to put this person over and make them seem credible? It would just make a lot more sense for Liv Morgan to beat Io Sky clean as a sheet. Because, as you mentioned, this was essentially a clean as the sheet victory as it gets with a run-in involved. Mm-hmm. So, I thought the finishing stretch was good. I was like, okay, we're picking up the pace a little bit. That's where I was coming in with the nice little sprint there, because I did feel like they were starting to work a little quicker. And again, it's one of the reasons why I thought this match was better than their Queen of the Ring match in Saudi Arabia. So, but I would have, me, Lee, simpler is better. They overthink things sometimes. Just let Liv Morgan get the victory. And you don't even have to get these run-ins going, but they felt it was necessary, and Liv Morgan retains in her first title defense since winning the championship at WrestleMania.
Well, it would have been a shame if she lost with the law firm that was being advertised.
Right. Morgan and Morgan.
Oh, okay.
Right. Yes. Morgan and Morgan sponsoring the Liv Morgan match.
Smart.
Look, if you're going to do it, I was waiting for them to sponsor the Danhausen match. So you know what? That also makes sense for them to be part of this match. So who knows? There is a second night. Maybe they bought another sponsorship package. Maybe we're going to get more brands showcased here. But this opening match, I came in with not the highest of expectations, and I thought it was all right. It was an opening match. I did laugh, though, with Wade Barrett post-match.
Yeah.
Where he said, people will be remembering this match for the next 25 years. Thanks, Wade.
And while I thought it was good, I think as the night went along, this match got better.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
In comparison sakes, it got better. What I will not be doing is remembering it from yesterday, let alone 25 years. Now, I got a little fortunate. My either internet connection or whatever crapped out, and I had to start it over. And I missed, after the match ended, it was then that it kind of crapped out, and it took me about 5 minutes to get it back.
I actually extremely jealous of you that happened.
Oh, first of all, they had not started the next match yet.
Nope.
They had not even come close to it.
Yeah.
Then you told me about this quote, which was good. I got to catch up on that.
Yes.
And I also missed, because I did think they did a pretty good job with those snapshots as opposed to just, what's the music again, Zach? Sing it for us.
Do, 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 do. Slow motion elbow drop. Do, 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 do. Slow motion body slam. Do, do, do. Slow motion yeet. 4 minutes of this.
So bad. So I think they did a good job with the snapshots from previous SummerSlam.
Oh, I gotta tell you about these snapshots, though.
No, I know, but what I'm going to say before you rip them to shreds is they probably had throughout the night, I don't know, 50 to 60, somewhere in that ballpark. They had a ton.
They had a lot. I think too much with some of the people that they showcased.
But of the 50 or 60, I'm just going to preface this with not every single one in 50 or 60 SummerSlam moments is going to be Zach McGibbon's favorite snapshot.
Well, that's fine, but also, Lee, one of the snapshots that they some of it made sense. It was like, okay, Randy Orton cashing in the title on Daniel Bryan, right? Made sense. That was a big time moment. They also showed Randy Orton winning the World Heavyweight Championship. This is just a general thing. They showed highlights you would expect, like Ray and Kurt at SummerSlam, They showed some of the early 90s. They showed Brett and Anvil winning the tag team championships. All the like top moments you would expect from SummerSlam. And then they showed Roman Reigns winning like every year, like 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024. I'm like, is this an omen for what's supposed to come here in 2026? So that was a little bit, and then they show these other snapshots, and one of them was Randy Orton winning the World Heavyweight Championship in 2004, but just don't ask who his opponent was that night. You had this one. I was like, really? That's a snapshot you want to showcase? And it was Stephanie McMahon delivering a pedigree to Nikki Bella during that whole feud when Nikki Bella told Brie Bella, "I wish you died in the womb." That was a snapshot. That was a SummerSlam moment that they were like, yep, we're going to put this on our screens and showcase this to people. And then other snapshots they had was Natalya winning the Women's World Championship in 2017. It's like, oh, yeah. Totally remember that. That was a big moment.
Well, they're snapshots to bring you back.
Yes.
Maybe you forgot.
Yes.
Hey, this is not a bad idea, and it gets us away from. Sorry, how does the music go again?
Do, 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 do. Slow motion yeets. Do, do, do. 4 minutes. 4 minutes of this.
Every time, I know. So
it's like, no, you can't just fill it with, I guess they ran out of snapshots for SummerSlam. Like, they're like, Stephanie beating Nikki Bella, Natalya winning the world championship.
Okay, I think that's funny that you bring that up because I certainly don't remember Stephanie McMahon and Nikki Bella. I don't remember Natalya. However, the whole idea of the snapshots was not horrible. So not all of them are going to be, like I said, to your top level.
No, I don't know. Maybe like they showed Roddy Piper in 92. It's like, all right, cool. Like some of them is just, and then others, I'm like, I would have probably kept that one in the back burner. I think that's okay.
I did text you, Zach. I've got my feedback, but I'm dreading the next match.
Yes. Which, by the way, in all this, as you mentioned, they hadn't even gotten to the ring yet.
No.
The entrances hadn't hit yet.
And then they did their promotion of, was it Gears of War?
Yes. What's your favorite War video game, Lee?
As
it is a big franchise, as
okay,
but gamer, but
none of them for me. But I didn't quite. They mixed it into the Usos coming out. And I was like, I don't even know who's coming out right now.
Yes.
However, they
did it for the heels too. By the way, they did that for the cool entrances, quote unquote, for the heels.
So the Usos. Jacob Fatu got his own entrance, and they go up against Solo Sikoa, Royce Keys, and LA Knight.
Yeah.
I was not looking forward to this match. In fact, I don't have a lot to say about this match. Jacob Fatu coming out looked a little bit like the Boogeyman to me with his Samoan werewolf mask on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's the vision you want to put in people's heads, but maybe I'm just the only one who got that. I'm really looking forward to your review of this 11-minute 6-man tag team matchup.
God, I'm so glad that they put this SmackDown match in the middle of my PLE pay-per-view. 6-person tag. They just, I'm looking at this. I'm thinking, okay, what are the things I should focus in on in my television match that's made it on to its PLE?
Okay, I'll tell you. How about not once but twice? Solo dancing, he's feeling it. He's a fun guy, as you said. He's twice got caught with a move after he was dancing because he was too nonchalant. Is that a fun guy or is that just stupid?
I think that answer to that question is yes. So that's my answer. So I'm like, when I'm gonna call him Powerhouse Hobbs. I know he has another name, but I just
Zach,
keep calling him Powerhouse Hobbs.
I know Royce Keys, but
Royce Keys.
like if you're going to be the fun guy and
Yeah.
do all these moves kind of after, like it is such a heel thing to do a move, get all like fired up, do a little dancing, and then get caught because you're overdoing it and you're taking your eye off your opponent. That is a heel tactic.
Yes.
Twice Solo Sikoa does this in the match as a babyface.
Yes.
Like he's literally dancing to the crowd and the crowd's eating it up and he gets taken advantage of. Like, come on, what are we doing?
And he also ran it back. He took Jey Uso's ran it back thing.
Yes.
And, saw that again. I was like,
because he's a fun guy, apparently.
He's a fun guy. He, like, you know, Zach, you just have to have some fun. So let's have some fun here. I mean, this is why I watch wrestling, not for the wrestling. God, no. Why would I want to watch for the thing that it's named after? No, I want to see these performers dance. So that's what I'm going to get. So I got that in my 6-person tag. One of the people I kept an eye on is like, all right, let's see how Powerhouse Hobbs can do. I know his name's Royce Keys, but I'm inevitably just going to call him Powerhouse Hobbs. Same with an AEW. I'm just going to call him Edge. I'm done calling him Cope or Copeland or Adam C or, you know, Sexton Hardcastle or whatever his name is going to be that day. I'm going to call him Edge. All right. So Powerhouse Hobbs, they try to do this big power slam spot on the top rope.
Oh boy.
That took forever and a day to get set up.
Did it ever with Jimmy Uso? And Jimmy Uso had his foot like around the bottom rope, which I thought was weird. Like, I don't know if he was doing it for balance to try to get balance before they did it. And I think it screwed Royce Keys up a little bit trying to do it. But man, he did not look good here.
Yeah. Time stood still on that spot and he's trying to get him adjusted. And I'm looking, it's like, Jimmy, get your leg up.
Yeah.
Balance it up for him. He's because at some point I was thinking, it's like, is he sandbagging the guy? Like, is he just keeping not doing enough to help him? Fortunately, because Powerhouse Hobbs, he is a powerhouse. And so he was able to lift him up and do the power slam spot. But, you know, the crowd was kind of building up for it, but they took forever and a day to try and get this spot set up in order to do that. But I will say, in defense of old Willie Hobbs, that they did a spot where he did a power slam on the outside over the barricade, as opposed to the spear through the barricade, which we've seen 1,000 times. Like, all right, you know, that's something a little different.
And it was on Jacob Fatu, who in theory is a lot heavier than Jimmy Uso.
Yeah, exactly. And somehow that works like a charm.
This spot was way better than the first one. In fact, I've never seen it done like that before, and they did it quite well.
Yep. It was a nice little spot. This is a chance for Powerhouse Hobbs here to showcase himself. I could only imagine when they were going over that match beforehand being like, okay, so I want to do this power slam spot to the outside. Who's willing to do it? And Jimmy and Jay kind of look at each other. And Jacob is like, oh, yeah, let's go. Yeah, I'm in, brother. Let's go. And so that's how I imagine the backstage talks went in. Otherwise, you know, this is a 6-man tag match that I wasted 11 minutes of my life. I can't get back. It wasn't bad, but it was just like, it was there. They wanted to get the big crowd pops. And LA Knight got his, you know, LA Knight, thing in as you have to. So, I did want to mention something else that we didn't mention in the opener, but it was when you're a prominent YouTuber, and we've talked about him on the show, it's hard to not notice this person in front row, but I saw Chris Van Vliet was front row.
Front row center, hard cam.
Yep, all up on the hard cam. He's a very good looking guy. I can tell you that. He's keeps himself well maintained. Although sometimes I feel like he's straight out of the Team America movie from 2004. But nonetheless, it was front and center. It's not an offense at all to Chris Van Vliet. He's going all over there. He's got a seat. He's got to take advantage of the seat. But I was kind of distracted a little bit. It's like, man, what is CVV thinking about this? Like, how is he reacting to all this stuff?
My first thought seeing him there was they couldn't sell that seat.
Yeah.
Like, Because if you went on and tried to get a SummerSlam dead center front row hard cam seat on the WWE ticketing, what would that seat cost? Like legitimately, what would it cost?
I said legitimately. I was going to say a lung and a kidney, maybe 2 bones.
Yeah, but
in terms of price, probably like at least 20 grand.
yeah, I was thinking
WWE. I'm not even
10 or 15. Like,
yeah, like it's a lot, like 5 digits for
yeah.
sure.
I thought that reeked a little bit of desperation. It's like we have not sold this seat because we put it up for maybe 20 grand or whatever. And now we're going to have somebody prominent there in the wrestling community to make it look better. I didn't like that at all. And again, if you're CVV, why not? Like, why?
If I was him, who am I to say no?
Yep.
So don't blame him. It was just funny because like, oh, there's Chris Van Vliet right in the front row.
All right, on to match 3. And it is Gunther versus the SmackDown general manager, Nick Aldis.
I have a lot to say about this match, but not for any of the competitors in this match. Michael Cole.
Okay. So I'm going to start off with maybe for me, possibly. I'd have to think about it, but I'm going to think that the answer is yes. The best moment of the night for me. Nick Aldis coming out to What's the Story Morning Glory from Oasis, and the crowd and the emotion that he had. This brought me right back to, yeah, I know we haven't seen him in the ring. I don't know even what's going to happen here in the next 15 minutes, but this is some of the things that I like about pro wrestling. A guy coming out genuinely emotional about being back, has a long history. Of course, they put up on the graphic that he's a former TNA world champion, TNA tag team champion, and didn't put on the graphic that he's one of the longest tenured NWA champions of all time. Don't worry about that. But Michael Cole did mention that, at least afterwards. They didn't put it up on the graphic, but at least he mentioned it. But coming out to Oasis and What's the Story Morning Glory, I thought Wade Barrett captured this perfectly about what that would mean to an Englishman, and that the WWE went out of their way to pay the copyright to get that song for Nick Aldis, when it usually, to me, it would be, yeah, it's Triple H going to his superiors. Yeah, I got this good idea. No, it's going to cost us a lot of money. No. So I got to give him credit. I thought that this was really, really great of them to do. And you could see the emotion from Aldis. You could hear it from Wade Barrett, another Englishman. I thought it was awesome. Just awesome. Yeah,
it would totally caught me by surprise that look at Oasis, man. First of all, they're coming back touring. I'm going to be honest with you all. I'm not an Oasis guy. I don't hate them, but I never like bought into them as other people have. But in terms of just the moment, like, look at Oasis. They're coming back on tour. And ever since coming back on tour, their music's getting licensed by AEW for Nigel McGuinness's return at a big stadium in London. And now their music is being licensed for a big stadium in Minnesota for a British wrestler coming out.
Yep.
All of a sudden, Oasis becoming the wrestling theme band for professional wrestling. But yeah, it caught me by surprise. Like, oh, all right, cool. Again, something you don't usually see from WWE or anybody, let alone Nick Aldis. So the fact that they did that for him, usually they only license music if it's like a super big star outside of the company, like they did for Pat McAfee with the Seven Nation Army song a couple years ago at WrestleMania. So that was cool. And then they did they showed, this was in the middle of the match, but they showed Mickey James was at ringside with their son Donovan. And so all of that in terms of presentation and how this is like a big moment. And they were like, oh yeah, this guy's a former he's a former TNA champion. And he also, as Michael Cole called it, the NWE TNA champion. And and I think they mentioned NWA a little bit. I could be wrong.
They mentioned NWA. They just didn't put it up on the graphic.
Yep.
Which I thought was not right.
Yeah. But they put it over. There was a part of me as I'm looking at all this where with all the graphics, like, oh, he's a former TNA world champion and all this stuff. And I'm like, if I was a fan, I'd be looking saying, so why isn't he wrestling in this company again? Why is he a general manager?
I think after the match, we could also ask that. We'll get into Michael Cole in this match because
he was horrendous. Not only just this match especially, but throughout the night, he was horrendous.
So he had one of his worst nights ever. And we'll talk about, because I thought it was this match that kind of kicked off a lot of how bad he was. But let's talk about the wrestlers first. Gunther does defeat Nick Aldis by submission. Nick Aldis was number one, fully over with that crowd.
Yep.
Fully over. Like way more over than I thought he was going to be. And number two, I thought he looked great. This probably is my favorite match of the night. It was way better than I thought. It didn't go on too long. It did have some drama. Nick Aldis did get some offense in. I thought he looked very smooth. He didn't look clunky at all. As you mentioned, they had Mickey James and his son there. Afterwards, there was a little bit of drama thrown in. For 11 minutes and 40 seconds, I think this had everything that you would want it to have. And quite frankly, this was my favorite match of the night.
So I think you are higher on this than I am. I did not think this is not my favorite match of the night. I thought Aldis was all right. He looked great in the sense that physically, and that was never in doubt in my mind. He was always been somebody that looks good in a suit, so it makes sense for him to be in the general manager role as well if he's going to be in a suit all the time. Look was never going to be an issue with Nick Aldis. I always felt like if the time would come when he would go into the ring, that he would look the part of pro wrestler. And so that wasn't an issue for me. I didn't think he was bad in the ring. I didn't think he was I didn't think he was great in the ring. I think great's a little strong. I thought he looked all right to good. I think for a guy who hasn't wrestled in 3 years. Now, the funny thing is, he hasn't wrestled in 3 years, but he's still under 40. I think he's like 39, which is hard to believe. But I thought he was all right. Like, he looked good and got the crowd response that they were looking for. And there were points in the match that I thought were good. Some of the transitions. Gunther's a good wrestler. So there was a lot here, I think, to like. I don't think it reached the peaks that I was hoping for with this.
Okay, where did you want it to get to that it didn't? Because again, I never said that all this was great. I said it was my favorite match of the night, and it exceeded my expectation of it going in.
Mm-hmm.
So where do you want this match to get to that it didn't?
I wanted more out of Aldis in the ring at this spot. Again, didn't think he was bad. Thought he was good at points, but you could account to that for ring rust. I wanted it to be built up a little bit more, especially with the story that they were trying to tell here. With, man, he lost, but he looked so great in the ring in the loss and blah blah blah. I came away with it not getting that feeling of it was well earned in that sense. Like, oh, he looks so great and getting this big moment. It was lacking for me. I didn't really like the structure of the match as much either.
I think you're being hard on him right now.
Maybe
3 years away, he comes back at a moment like this at SummerSlam. It's not like he was, and they went over this in detail, that apparently it's like a sparring partner. No.
Right.
My God. That I'm talking about the commentary, but
yeah.
I don't know. Like, was it perfect? No, but man, he checked a lot of boxes. And if you wanted him to get to 10 out of 10 and he only got to like 8 out of 10 in his first match in 3 years.
I don't think it was. I'm going to
big
push back
spot.
on that. That's not a 10. I wasn't looking for 10 out of 10. I thought he was a 7 out of 10. I was looking for more of an 8 and an 8.5. Like
So
it was lacking for me.
So you're looking for a 1 point difference, and you're like sticking to this. Like, hey man, I wanted more out of him. Like I gave him a 7, but I wanted an 8.
Well, Lee, did they in the post? I'll just to jump ahead when he put in his resignation to Triple H, and Triple H said, "No, I'm not accepting this." Did Triple H say you're going to be a wrestler again?
No, he said get back to work.
Get back to work, be a general manager, which is also flat. It's like, oh, he's just going to be back to wearing his suit and doing his job.
I agree with that, but does he have a tendency to stick his nose back in more because he got the taste of it? And then the storyline is he's the general manager that really does want to get back in the ring, and he's over exerting his power in that spot. Are they just sort of building up to get him back into the ring? I hope so, because I agree with you. It was like, oh, okay, just get back to work.
Yeah.
But again, look, I'm trying to be fair. Okay. So we love AEW. And when Nigel McGuinness gets back in the ring, he wasn't a 10 out of 10 either. But we go, oh my God, like we love Nigel McGuinness. He was one of the best back like 15 years ago. And he's had some tough problems. And then he wrestles once and then he gets back on commentary. Do we have a problem with it in AEW? I feel like we don't. Like, I'm willing to give Nigel McGuinness that he's not going to be a 10 out of 10 because he hasn't been in the ring. And quite frankly, he did not look as good as Aldis did. So, I don't know. We're not very hard on Nigel McGuinness. I didn't hear you say I want more out of Nigel McGuinness when he didn't look great. You were like, oh, it was cool to see him.
So I thought Nigel McGuinness was better than Nick Aldis in his stadium match.
Zach, he was not. In the first match that Nigel McGuinness wrestled, he looked terrible. And we gave him a pass in his first match. No?
He was also 50.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm gonna push back a little bit.
All right.
I'm because first of all, I want to really rip into Michael Cole, and I'm not being given this opportunity to rip into Michael Cole. So I'm bursting at the seams here.
Zach,
but
we have all show, and we're going to get to Michael Cole. I think we both agree on the Michael Cole.
We both agree on.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I want to make it abundantly clear because I don't think I am conveying the point well enough.
No.
So I will try to convey it better. So did I think Nick Aldis was bad? I do not. Did I think that he looked good at points? Yes. I wanted more consistency out of him, and I don't think with a guy like Gunther that we got a consistently good Nick Aldis. That's just my opinion, and I did not feel like, yes, you had all the outside factors with Oasis and all that, but I don't know, Lee. I just came away with it being like, all right, like we saw Nick Aldis and he had his match and wasn't bad, but I wasn't like, man, they need to get Nick Aldis out there like next Raw or anything like that. So I don't know. And I think WWE saw it that way too, if they're putting him back in the general manager role. So that's where I'm kind of coming from. Was this one of the worst matches on this card? No, it was not. This was solid enough. And I will also say that some of my experience with this was hampered by the commentary, because I thought they just totally butchered how to present this story.
Let's get into that. I will just leave it with, I did not have the same feeling afterwards. After the match, I want to see Nick Aldis out there again. That's how I felt after the match. It's like, yeah, I want to see more of that guy. This wasn't a one and done, like, hey, good moment for him, but he doesn't quite have it. It was like, no, I saw enough that I want to see him again for me. But yeah, let's get into the commentary, because Michael Cole just butchered this match like I have not heard an announcer butcher it. So
awful.
It started off, one of the first things, Wade Barrett gets into telling a story about how his first match ever was against Nick Aldis. And he goes into it a little bit. You can hear some emotion in Wade Barrett telling the story. 30 seconds later, Michael Cole brings up the fact that, oh, wait, well, you know, you had your first match against Nick Aldis. Talk about it. Like, oh my God. And I get maybe someone was talking in his ear. I don't care, man. I don't care. It's not your job. Your job is to be listening and to be actively engaged with the person that you are with.
Yep.
You make a blunt. It was so bad. It felt like every relationship that you're ever in long term, when your partner says something and it just does not register at all, and you're not really listening and you don't care, and then you say it back and your partner looks at you like, cool, man, thanks. I just said that about a minute ago, but I'm going to stop talking now because you're clearly not listening to me. Yeah. This was so bad because it wasn't just that Wade Barrett said something and Michael Cole didn't hear him. It was that he went into an emotional story about his first match, relating it to the guy that's now in the ring. Yep. Michael Cole was not listening. Brutal.
That wasn't even the worst part, Lee.
I know.
Well, you would think, oh, that's a bad miss, but you can recover from that easily, right? Oh no, he did not recover from this at all. I thought Cole called such a bad match because, first of all, he was just telegraphing this finish all throughout the match. This was the problem I had with the entirety of Cole's commentary during the show. We were alluding to it at the start, but this hyperbole coming from the desk was so over the top that it actively took me out of what I was watching. Like, from calling Io Sky one of the top wrestlers in the world to Wade Barrett saying we're going to think about that match 25 years from now when it came to the women's match. And then Cole here, like, he's just telegraphing it. This would be one of the biggest miracles in the history of WWE if Nick Aldis were to be able to beat Gunther. I'm like, look, I went on this show and I said, look, the fans probably look at Nick Aldis. We saw his TNA, NWA run, all of that. And we've interviewed Nick Aldis in the past. We're aware of Nick Aldis. We've talked to Nick Aldis over the internet or whatever. Like, we talked with him. I saw him live in Talladega Mohawk territory. I'm aware of Nick Aldis, but the fans may not. But there's also, when you have just introduced this guy as a former world champion for one of your partner promotions, number one, that buries your partner promotion, which they don't care about. So why bother? So it buries them. But also when you're going out there and just be like, this would be the miracle upon miracles if Nick Aldis were able to get the victory over Gunther, because Gunther's been on such a hot run, allegedly.
Didn't Gunther face Pat McAfee?
Yes. Okay. They were trying to do that template with Nick Aldis.
Yeah, I know.
It was unbelievable, like, how bad this was. And it got worse. There was a spot where I believe it was Aldis was running and there was the big body slam, the scoop slam from Gunther, right? And he scoop slams him. So, of course, Michael Cole knows one of the 3 other wrestling moves in his arsenal, in his knowledge book, called it a Michinoku driver.
Yep.
And then, which was bad enough, but then he said he realized it wasn't a Michinoku driver, so he tried to cover for it. It's like, well, I was trying to go for a Michinoku driver, a variation of it, but he didn't get all of it. It's burying the guy that was delivering the move, not on him. And it's like, I don't think that was the move he was looking for. And I'm like, no, Cole, that was exactly the move he was looking for. You screwed it up. Just stop talking at that point. Just call, like, lay out. He was awful in this. I thought they just did this all so wrong. And maybe that's why I'm not coming out as high on this match, because I just didn't come away thinking, oh, this was some great performance from him. Mm-hmm. Maybe if I turned off the commentary, I would have enjoyed it a lot better. I had somebody, a mutual of ours, of course, helps out with OSN, reach out to us and say that he is not he turns off the commentary because he can't stand Michael Cole. Mm-hmm. So I should have done that, because I thought that was just absolutely brutal layout of and call of the match. It just totally took me out. And again, I mentioned earlier, he called NWA TNA NWE TNA.
Mhm.
Like stuff like this, just he was not just this match especially, but throughout the night, he was just
Oh,
brutal.
he was, and this was the match that you're right. There was points in the match that he took me out of what I was watching and focused in on him.
Yeah.
And
And I'm
not
not going to let Wade Barrett slide on this either, because he had a couple doozies as well on commentary. And it was like, guys, like, I understand you're trying to sell me the show and it's supposed to be a spectacle and you're trying to get me invested. But Jim Ross, went in his prime, like, he would never stoop to this, where he would just get so hyperbolic. He had these energetic big time calls, but I always felt justified with those calls. If he was watching a bad match, he would, allude to it as like, oh, this is tougher than a $2 steak or whatever. He said, what he would say if it was a bad match out there? He would say, this is bowling shoe ugly out there. He would keep his credibility on the desk because he respected the audience. But again, this WWE faithful, this WWE crowd, this WWE company doesn't respect the crowd. And so they're just throwing all this hyperbole at you. Like, one of the best in the world. You're going to remember this match 25 years from now. All this stuff. It was just so over the top, as like, come on, guys. Can you at least respect me a little bit as a fan? Just a little bit. And the way that Cole would explain stuff, and I'll say it especially in one of the matches upcoming, where it was just so in your face, smashing you over the head with the subtlety bazooka, not a hammer, a freaking bazooka was shot at you. It was unbelievable. So he was brutal last night.
Right. So Gunther does win with the sleeper, has Nick Aldis tap out, which is the right ending.
Yep. The story itself made sense.
Considering John Cena tapped out to that.
Yep.
AJ Styles didn't tap out, but he succumbed to that move. So they had Mickey James and the Sun come in the ring after. The "you still got it" chants were there. Like, he was over. So
yep. How would you feel if you're 39 and you're getting "you still got a chance" in the year of our Lord 2026?
Yeah. But I get it. You can't fault the crowd. He hasn't been on TV. He hasn't wrestled in a long time. So
I get it, but also, like, that's
you
tough.
might not know that you're 39 from the crowd.
Right.
But you've signed up for this. You've accepted this as a role in the WWE. So for me, he would have to live with that.
Yep.
So then, of course, who do they show at ringside? They show the Busted Open crew.
Your boys.
There's Dave LaGreca. There's Bully Ray.
Yeah.
There's Mark Henry. Tommy Dreamer.
Yeah.
The Core Four is what they called themselves. Wonder where they stole that from the Maple Leafs.
I was also thinking maybe the Core from the old WWE stable outside of Nexus 10 years ago.
But it's hard for me to look at Dave LaGreca the same. For Bully Ray and Tommy Dreamer and Mark Henry, man, they're workers.
Yeah.
They're getting paid. And they didn't start this thing. Dave LaGreca's blood, sweat, and tears and caring about the business of pro wrestling started this thing. And incredible that the host, to me, has more credibility than the wrestlers that come on. It's great to have the wrestlers on that have opinions, but he started this thing from his passion. And now he's sitting there cheering about the WWE, and he'll never talk about any of the other promotions again. And I'm like, come on, man. It's hard. Like, I get his spot.
Yep.
I either still get paid to talk about pro wrestling, or I can have the credibility of the fans and not get paid. Like, great. So he doesn't have my credibility and he's not getting paid, or he does get paid to talk about pro wrestling and he loses my credibility. I understand his dilemma.
Yep.
But what I would really, really have liked from him is almost to be active. Hey, I'm going to work here. I'm getting paid to work here. They've asked me to do this. and I feel fortunate that I'm still in the business, but I am going to try to pass along the passion that I had for all of the other companies and have people start a new venture somewhere else and sort of be actively involved in that. I would have liked to see that. In fact, I wrote him that.
I wonder if he read it.
He probably didn't. I wasn't rude. I actually said I totally understand the dilemma that you're in, and like just exactly what I laid out.
Yep.
But tough to be able to see him. But then, Zach, let's go.
Yeah, this is where you really lock in.
This is where you lock in the Bella twins, Nikki Bella, Brie Bella, Paige coming out, commentary, making sure that they've each got one of the others like fits on so that they're all combined. And like, what is their fit that you're like, what is Paige wearing? They go, oh yeah, she's wearing some things of the Bellas. Like, okay. Against
combination of all three of their unique personalities.
Fatal Influence, JC Jane, Fallon Henley, and Lainey Reed. 6-woman tag team match. I'll start here.
Sure.
Because of some of the things I did like or trying to find some of the positives. I do think JC Jane has kind of taken an opportunity here and run with it. I think she's pretty over with some of the fans for a relative no-name. She's the clear leader of the group, and she has taken some of the momentum in NXT, and now she literally looks like a leader of a group that could put herself in contention with some of the other top stars in the women's division. Maybe her ring, it's really hard to judge how great their ring work is because they don't allow them to do very much. In fact, you and I were kind of discussing before, like it's been a year now that Mariah May Blake Monroe has been a part of the WWE since coming from AEW. She has wrestled 16 times total in that year and never once on the main roster on TV. So if JC Jane was allowed to go out and wrestle 20, 25 minutes a night with the Io Skies and the Charlotte Flairs of the world, how would she do? I have no idea. But from what we're seeing, I think she's got a good look and a presence as a leader. And I thought Lainey Reed was outstanding in this match. And I think she's got a lot going for her. She is a former top athlete from the University of Alabama. I think she's got some really good character work. She is not afraid. She does not look nervous out there whatsoever. Probably one of the women that have come along for me that I'll be honest, I haven't gravitated towards many of them coming up.
Mm-hmm.
They all kind of feel the same to me. Lainey Reed feels a little bit different. So I will be looking for her. But speaking about age and feeling old, Zach.
Oh boy.
Paige is now 33 years old.
Is that crazy?
33.
That's
feels like she's been around forever. And when I watch her, I feel like she's an older woman that doesn't know how to wrestle anymore.
But she's 33.
Yeah. And hasn't wrestled in a while. Like had some obviously serious neck injuries and stuff, but she's terrible in the ring.
Yeah.
So again, commentary for me. One of the
I've also got some notes.
One of the thoughts. I just couldn't get over Wade Barrett calling Nikki Bella a generational great.
Yes.
I'm like, what the hell are you talking about?
Not just a greatly, a generational great.
A generational great. You can't say those words about Nikki Bella on television.
Nope.
You can't. I don't care if they're telling you to say it. You're not going to get fired if you don't say it. Don't say it.
Well, who am I to doubt Nikki Sawa out there? I mean, That is generational greatness right there.
Well, I did call for a turn. It just wasn't the right turn on the right. I had the right team. So Fatal Influence wins. They should have won, and they did. So that's good. The Bellas are awful. Paige is awful. And now they're doing a turn where Nikki Bella turns on Paige and they turn heel because how dare you take my spot? Meanwhile, Brie Bella is like, glad I had a tag team partner and we actually won the tag team championship. So I was actually pretty happy, Nikki, but I guess I'll go with you because you're twin magic. You're my sister.
Yep.
Blah, blah, blah. Terrible storyline, terrible plot twist at the end, terrible. Like, I could care less whether the Bellas are faces or heels or like, please get them off my screen at this point. I have no interest. And I thought this was terribly done at the end. I have no interest in Paige for the, like, oh my God, what did Paige do wrong? She was just there and she helped out. Now they've turned on her. I don't care. And now when the Bellas are heels and Brie, who just went along with all of it because she was a tag team champion, the storyline doesn't make sense. They're trying to be like, how dare you take my spot when they needed somebody to take her spot.
Yeah.
Like,
and then you worked with that person in this very match.
Yeah.
And waited for your, could have done it at any other point, but you waited at the end of this match in particular. Not after the tag team belts were gone. It's this match where Nikki Saba was struck with the roaring elbow.
Yeah. So I will at least leave it for me. Like, I thought Lainey Reed came out looking fantastic. And I think JC Jane's got a real look and credibility with the fans. I think she's pretty over. And I'm hoping that they see that. That's as far as I can go with this match.
Yeah, Fatal Influence. I think there is some upside there. You did mention to me about Lainey Reed. And so I'll keep an eye on them. JC Jane was somebody that I found interesting in NXT on some of the bits that I saw, because I will, as you know, Lee, I refuse to watch that programming. But in terms of the bits I've seen, there was definitely some upside there. The Bellas and Paige.
Sorry, just to, like, for Lainey Reed, I think one of the things that when you know about her going into it, that she's a former rodeo champion and like she broke all kinds of records at the University of Alabama in track. Like, this girl is not just your average, hey, I'm pretty and I want to get into wrestling. Like, this girl is a little bit different.
Yep.
And I think it showed a little bit with her confidence. That's all. I'm hoping it takes it to the next level. But isn't it wild that when you even find out a little bit, and I know they mentioned on the broadcast, but I had looked into this before, but when you know some background on some people and you're like, oh, okay, like rodeo champion, that's different.
Yeah.
Like all kinds of track records at the University of Alabama. Like, people, you might have a vested interest in a person and they're not just another face because you know their story. Tell us their stories.
Right.
That's your job. Get your own people over. Why do they do this? Get your own people over. Don't have me being the one telling it, like a former rodeo champion, all kinds of track records broken at the University of Alabama. Yeah, they casually mentioned it during the match, but she's already a tag team champion.
Yes.
Like, you're supposed to know about them beforehand. Anyway.
So I agree. I all of that, as you mentioned, was not brought up as far as I'm aware by the commentary. What was brought up by the commentary, though, was something I wrote down when they did the big heel turn. And we're getting the Nikki Bella heel run in the year of our Lord 2026. Get fired up. How can you not?
Wasn't she just a heel like last year or something?
Yes, but get fired up because she's a heel again. She did it last year. He loved it so much. We're doing it again. But this line that Michael Cole said as they were doing the big camera shots, like, oh, what is she doing? Oh, I can't believe it. Lee, Michael Cole said, these three were as close as sisters. Let me say that again for the people listening in. Michael Cole said the trios team of Nikki Bella, Brie Bella,
You are sisters.
Twin and sisters. Paige were as close as sisters.
Oh, good.
I mean, what else? What else do you want me to say after that? I sat there like, number one, obviously, like, total Bellas, whatever. I guess you can make that connection there. But yes, I would imagine these three, especially two of them, were as close as sisters, considering they're literal twins. Literal twin sisters.
And then
I just, at that point, I text you, Lee, and I'm like, somebody, is Corey Graves behind there? Somebody get him out there and do the play-by-play for the rest of the show. Like, remember when Cole's headset went out? I think it was during, I'm trying to remember which PLE it was. It was one of their international shows. But
a big spot at the end, too.
Yeah, and the headset went out, and I'm like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing to happen to WWE. And Corey Graves was calling the match. I'm like, oh, this is so refreshing. But this company just can't help itself and just be like, you know what, Michael? We need to get this next generation of commentary over because you've been in this company for 25 years, longer than Jim Ross. You've been in this commentary booth for a long time. Let's try and get this next generation over. Let's get Corey Graves the big call. Like, and then Corey Graves said, I'm going to give the headset to Michael Cole for this final stretch. And I went, no, I'll go to Gorilla. I'll get on the headset. Like, no. Get it back to Corey. Michael doesn't need to come on. I was hoping that somebody backstage is like, you know what? Somebody call up Corey Graves and tell him he's calling the main event tonight. And we'll bring Michael Cole back. He's having an off night. And we need to get our next generation of guys over. Close as sisters.
Well, it's not a good line considering that two of them are twin sisters.
Yes!
And that the other one really has no, like, why would you ever even believe that they were close really at all? And why were they as close as sisters? Like, based on what? That she filled in for her at WrestleMania because she was hurt, and now it's SummerSlam and they've spent a couple months together?
I literally threw my hands up in the air.
This is just a bad match.
Yes. And so get ready. We're getting the big Nikki Bella push in 2026. They're already in the Hall of Fame. Like, they put the women in the Hall of Fame. Am I incorrect in this? I don't know what else we need. I don't know what other storylines need to be done for Nikki Bella in 2026 to have her big heel run. So anyway, it was a 6-person tag.
CM Punk, Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE Championship is next. First, let's talk about, do you think that this or the Hell in a Cell should have been the main event?
With the benefit of hindsight, I think the Hell in a Cell decision being the main event was the right call, based on what we saw in both matches. I'll save that for the reviews.
Okay. Let's get into CM Punk and Cody Rhodes. 30 minutes and 10 seconds. And by hook or by crook, CM Punk able to retain the championship over Cody Rhodes. We both had CM Punk in this match. The floor is yours.
Lee, I saw some people really put over this match because they worked a body part. And so I guess that automatically, Lee, that just means it's a great match now because they worked a body part. Oh, they were working CM Punk's knee. That's what pro wrestling should be. And you would think with me, I would be all in on that. But there's more to pro wrestling than just working a body part. It's what you do with that body part. How do you sell that body part? How do you work that body part? It's why I get annoyed with Randy Orton matches. And I will say this right now. It's felt like a Randy Orton match, Lee, in a lot of cases. because they were targeting Punk's knee. Totally fine with that as a story, right? We're really targeting it. But it's one thing to just check off a box and say, oh, I'm targeting the knee of this guy. I'm targeting the knee. It's what you do with it afterwards. How do you sell the knee, Lee? How do you work it? And I felt like they just did it to do it. You know what I mean? Like they did have moments.
We got 30 minutes to fill. We need to do something.
Yep. They just kind of did it to do it. And there were some spots in this. I think the big one that people will remember related back to the knee was, two of them, I should say, with Punk, trying to do the go to sleep, but he did it on the bad knee. So he went crumpled down. That was good. And then the other one where he did the dive to the announce table to the outside. And for some reason, when he was doing his elbow drop, he decided to stand straight up and it looked rough going into the announce table, especially for old Phil. So those are the two spots that I remember, but man, Lee, I thought this was just boring. This was a very underwhelming match for me. I was actually surprised how underwhelmed I was at the end of this match.
I felt so. Yeah, I have some things to say about this match too. Number one, just because it's a longer match doesn't make it a better match. When you start to get into 25 and 30 minutes, you actually have to do something to keep people's attention. We're not just going to stand up and applaud you because you get 30 minutes to go out there and do what you need to do. You got to make it entertaining. And sometimes I feel like people just, oh my God, like it's now 25 minutes in and this is just unbelievable. And you're like, well, what's been unbelievable? Nothing. So I really felt like this match was arduous to get through. And I wanted to be clear, I wanted to like this match. I like both guys. There certainly is a story. They haven't faced each other in a long time in a meaningful match on TV. I wanted it to be better. It just wasn't. And if I have to see one more time, like the WWE just does this insanely too much, where I'm going to go for my finisher. And whether it's 4 minutes in or 6 minutes in or 15 minutes in, like how many false go to sleeps did we see? Like, I think it would take me a second hand to get there. Like, we can't think of anything else because we all know that in big matches, your finisher isn't going to do it anyway. You're both going to hit your finisher and they're both going to kick out. So doing false hitting your finishers, like 4 minutes in, you're not going to get the guy anyway. We all know that. And especially with CM Punk, he is starting to remind me a lot of John Cena, where everything is slow, everything is methodical, and I really only have about 6 or 7 things that I can do. And if I have to see one more time where I'm going to hit the go to sleep, but I'm just exhausted. But then so is the other guy who gets hit with it, but on some weird way, he just doesn't fall down, but he goes against the ropes, but he's almost unconscious, and then he just falls on my shoulders again.
Oh,
how many times do we need to see the same goddamn spot?
I hate that spot.
No, but the first time, fine.
Yeah.
Like the first time, if people have never seen it before, totally okay with it.
Yep.
But they have gone back to it and back to it. It's like nobody ever falls that way, ever. But we're going to do it because it's going to fall right on your shoulders to do it again. Michael Cole not even understanding which leg it was that CM Punk might have hurt on the jump to the announce table, which did look rough.
That was a rough spot. And to play off of your point as well, the way that he called it, it wasn't, oh, right on the bad knee, as you would call it like a normal human being, because nothing is ever subtle in WWE. He goes, Wade, that's the knee that's been injured throughout the entirety of the match, and he landed his knee on the announce table. Like that's the like pointing at it like a giant sign, being like, "Oh, look at that!" Instead of being just like, "Oh, right on the knee, right on the knee." It was so over the top.
But then they showed it, and he was like unsure about it in his first over the top call. And then they showed it again, and then he got more over the top. And then Wade Barrett said something weird, like basically saying that it might not be that knee because he's like, well, both knees, have been bad, almost contradicting that he did fall on his knee in the first place. All that to say it was a rough spot. But it's just the same, like Anaconda Vice, and try to hit the go to sleep like a million times in the match. At some point, you're going to line up for the big elbow off the top for your ode to the Macho Man, Randy Savage. And what else? Like, what else are you doing? It feels very John Cena-ish. You are not as big of a Cody guy, I think, as some, but I do think that Cody had the benefit of everyone being behind his story.
Yep.
They wanted him to get there. And I think that does fuel a little bit of, even if a match isn't great, people still have this urge, this want to get you to the finish line. So they're going to get behind you, which to me makes matches seem better. Cody Rhodes doesn't have that anymore. There is no finish line for Cody Rhodes. Even if he won, it wasn't like completing a story and having this massive push behind him. So he did not look great in this. Punk looked old and slow. And maybe we'll talk a little bit about what Triple H had to say afterwards of Damian Priest comments that there's only 4 guys and they're all in the top 4. And Triple H was basically like, well, yeah, but you got to put them out, which I don't disagree with his philosophy. But when you watch Cody and Punk, I didn't get anything out of this. Like, hey guys, well, not a great match. 30 minutes. We haven't even got to the end point here yet, where their great idea between 2 of the biggest stars in the world is to bring Randy Orton back through the crowd and hit an RKO on Cody Rhodes, when we haven't seen Randy Orton since WrestleMania, and they have not explained why Randy Orton is not there. And that's the big one to me. Randy Orton stood over Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania with the belt after punt kicking him. And we thought oh my God, on Saturday night on WrestleMania, they're setting up an angle. Well, I hate it, but okay, let's see what happens Monday. Oh, Randy Orton's just not here for 4 months. Oh, but Randy Orton's back. And he gives a wink to the camera after an RKO. Like, we have seen this shit before. 1,000,000 times. We have seen this crap. And your big idea after 30 minutes is to run Randy Orton into the ring because it sets up the next feud.
Yes.
Come on, guys. You can do better than this. If people want to criticize AEW, there's been some criticism of their top title angle with Omega and Will Ospreay, that it's too complex. It's too storyline woven throughout different things. There's been some criticism.
Mm-hmm.
I happen to like it, but I get for some people that it's a bit complicated. This crap is what anybody can follow because there's no thought given to it. 0, 0, 0 across the board thought given to it about, hey guys, what are we going to do? Well, we need to bring Randy back. Well, we have Randy come in. He's ready to go now. Is he cleared? Yeah. Okay, he's cleared. Let's get Randy back in the ring after 30 minutes. He's going to RKO Cody, and we got ourselves another storyline. No one cares. And when Cody Rhodes faces Randy Orton at some godforsaken pay-per-view in September that's out of the country?
Yes.
Where is it? I don't even know. I literally don't know. I know Money in the Bank's in October.
Yep.
But like wherever their next pay-per-view is, which I'm sure it's probably out of the country because it feels like one that would be out of the country in September. And Randy Orton's going to face off against Cody Rhodes. Why am I supposed to care? Seriously, why am I supposed to care? Because Cody beat Randy at WrestleMania and Randy was mad. But then Randy left and got hurt again because he's old and fragile and no good.
Yes. And has already had a bad back.
Yeah. So he punt kicked him, but then left for 4 months. And I'm supposed to care that there's retribution for the feud? I don't care at all. And when these now two old, slower guys get in the ring, I can guarantee you nobody at the end of their match, Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes, is going to say, oh my God, Zach, Lee, you have to go back and watch this match because it was amazing. Not one person will say that. But we're supposed to look forward to it. Give me a break. Honestly, it is so lazy. It is so thoughtless to say, let's have Randy come out and just cost Cody. We'll hook him. We got him. You don't want to overcomplicate your storylines. Too many interwoven stories connected, fine. But this isn't like, this is nothing. This is brutal. So honestly, they bored me for 30 minutes and then had an all-time bad finish. I'm like, I don't need to see it. I don't need to see it. I thought this match was terrible. And I will push back on anybody to show me, hey, fake go to sleep, fake go to sleep, fake go to sleep. Oh my God, I got him, go to sleep, didn't get him. Awesome. You know how I got him? I was laying on the outside for 3 minutes and then Randy Orton came back. Then I got him. Hit the crossroads. Did I get him? No. The biggest thing I remember about this match is that the spot looked rough off the top into the announce desk and the absolutely, hey, we'll just have him fall on the ropes, but he's kind of like unconscious, so he'll just fall on the shoulders of Punk again. We got him there. Haven't you done that like 17 million times? Yeah, but don't worry about it. We got him. So bad. Where is this pay-per-view?
I'm looking at the upcoming pay-per-views, and the only earliest one is the Money in the Bank in New Orleans. So they might announce something in between time. But unless you wanted to count Sunday night's main event on September 6th at Atlanta, Georgia, but not Saturday nights. But yeah, no, you explain that Randy Orton stuff better than I could. I'm well in line with you on that. I saw as the only thing I could add is, why would you want to remind people about how awful that WrestleMania main event was with Cody and Orton, with everything involving McAfee, and just go back to that? Unless you just have this complex of TKO totally screwed us over and telling this story, so now this is our opportunity at a lesser stage, not at a WrestleMania, to right the wrongs here and get back on track to what we wanted to tell with the story of Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton. That's the only thing I can think of with this. Otherwise, why are you reminding fans about what happened at the WrestleMania main event when McAfee was all stuttering because he stopped the 3 count, even though it was his guy that had the pin, which I recall very vividly and losing my mind on that. So this was just, this is not good. I don't know why, just because they worked a hold, all of a sudden it's this, Steamboat Flair classic to some. I just don't get it. But I will mention something else quickly because there's been a lot of discourse about it. The moonsault that CM Punk delivered, was that an ode to Terry Funk, or was that just a bad moonsault? My answer, yes. That's my answer for a lot of this stuff right now, is yes.
Oh boy. Yeah, I can't disagree with your answer.
Yeah. It wasn't exactly Jushin Liger's moonsault. I'll tell you that.
So, it's okay to do odes, right? We was the first match. We had another Eddie Guerrero tribute from Liv Morgan. I don't mind the tributes. I think
It's
I
getting
do.
a little heavy though.
I think I do mind though. It's more about the finishers. So again, explain to me, Zach, that Tiffany Stratton's finisher is what?
Best moonsault ever, or prettiest moonsault ever in her case.
Okay.
It's a
Io
double
Sky's
to a moonsault.
Io Sky's finisher is
A moonsault.
every Charlotte Flair match ever is
A moonsault. Jacob Fatu does the doubles springboard moonsault as well.
I was just gonna get to that was the women.
Yeah.
I was just in the women.
Yes.
Jacob Fatu, his finisher, springboard moonsault. Look, if it's an ode and it happens once, it was a terrible moonsault. And they didn't even know how to describe it because, like, did he catch him? Did Cody get out of the way? Was it just both because he kind of missed him? Like, I don't know, man. But if it's one time only to Terry Funk from CM Punk, who normally does it, I guess. I'm not going to give him a ton of credit for it. It looked bad. But if it's just an ode one time, trying to pay tribute to the guy, okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Here, you want to hear a fun fact, Lee? I know you love your fun facts.
Okay.
When Terry Funk won his first ECW World Championship,
Yep.
at the Barely Legal pay-per-view,
Yeah, I remember.
49 years old. And he was considered the middle-aged and crazy guy at that time. Just remember that.
Okay.
CM Punk is currently 47 years old. Only 2 years away from, and just a reminder, during that time for Terry Funk, he was considered middle-aged and crazy. And he was 49. I know that athletes are getting better now, and you could wrestle into your 40s. Like 1980s 40 is different from 2020s 40 in all of the athletics, not just pro wrestling.
Yep.
But it's also kind of crazy. We're kind of at this stage. And there still is. There was a time when it was Hogan and Piper main eventing in the cage match, Halloween Havoc 96.
Oh my God.
And that was called Age in the Cage. And Hogan was 43 and Piper was 42. And they were considered old men. CM Punk is the WWE champion and he's 47. Crazy. Anyway, I want to make that point.
Main event time. Hell in a Cell. Oba Femi. Brock Lesnar. So in hindsight, you think it should have been the main event? I agree, especially with what we saw. Like if they ended that show again with Randy Orton coming out, like, oh.
Yeah.
So I'll leave you to your thoughts here. 11 minutes and 40 seconds. I thought this was decent. I guess the fear I had going into the main event is that, okay, it's Hell in a Cell. It's after Cody and Punk. They're going to ask these guys to go long. And can they go long? Can they do something more? It was only 11:40. I did feel like it should have been longer. It's tough for those guys, I think, to do that, especially with the way that they laid the match out. But they do the right thing, where Oba Femi defeats Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar at the end looks like he's leaving. He comes back. He tells Oba Femi that he's the future. He gives him a hug, not a handshake. He says that he is the past. Of course, they'll be talking about, has he retired? I think if he hasn't retired, he has certainly gone away and he'll be back for one-offs. I don't think you'll see him very much anymore, if at all. And they do the right thing here and pass the torch to Oba Femi. And you have to give Brock Lesnar credit. You have to give, if they lined it up this way, or if this was whoever's idea this was to do it this way, they got it right. I thought the match ended too soon. I was waiting for a little bit more. And especially at the end, I think both you and I, and probably the majority of people who watched night number one, were like, why didn't he do it on, why didn't he, what's his move called? The huge power bomb. Whatever he calls it.
Right. I know what you're talking about here.
Yeah, well, whatever Oba Femi calls his big power bomb. I almost think that he should have, or the plan was for him to power bomb Brock Lesnar on the wood. And I think Oba Femi just missed. Yes. Because the look on Brock Lesnar's face when he was down, he got power bombed and he looked over and he's like, yep, wood's over there.
Yeah.
I'm here. So I really didn't think he was going to get him at that point because he didn't do it on the wood. And I was expecting a little bit more from the match. But all in all, didn't go too long where you were thinking it was arduous like I did for the previous match. They did the right thing at the end. All in all, pretty successful main event for me. What about you?
Yeah, I thought there was more they could have done to really hammer it home. Obviously, the exposed would. That would have been a better finish. It would have been a lot more of a, oh, this is the end of the match. If the fall from grace is what it's called.
Fall from grace.
Do a quick
Thank you.
Google search. The fall from grace. If he did that on the wood, I think it would have been a lot more definitive in a lot of people's minds. It's like, okay, this is it. He's put the guy down.
Can we just have a discussion quickly? Do we think that was the plan and he missed it, or was that not the plan?
I personally think it was the plan and he missed it. And Brock was like, we're already committed to this. We're just going to go with this as a finish because I'm losing anyway.
So sorry to cut you off, but do you think, for me, I would have liked in that moment, somehow, some way, Brock to tell him, like, I think he should have just kicked out.
Yep.
And then told him, do it to me again on the wood.
Yep. Really put a stamp of approval, seal the deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would have liked to have seen that. I will give them the benefit of the doubt in this case and say that was supposed to be the finish, but we have to remember with Oba Femi too, he's still kind of younger into his career.
Yep.
So that's how I kind of looked at that. There were still other things I think they could have done to really put this match over. Like I've said with other cage matches before, this is a battle I've lost, but I will still harp on it, is that you have a giant cage, utilize the cage. Don't just throw weapons in there. Like, because at that point, just lift up the cage and turn it into a no holds barred match or a street fight.
Yeah.
There's no point. Like, you have a cage, utilize it. And if you're going to use the cage, the other thing I think that could have really put him over is if Brock bled.
Yes.
Those were the things that I was kind of hoping for. Is there to really put the stamp of approval?
Is there I'm going to look it up. There was no blood on this entire night one.
No.
So that makes me wonder, was there something like in the Minnesota State Athletic Commission, or, because it's odd to me that there was no blood at all, especially for this match.
Yeah. I don't remember Minnesota having a strong athletic commission for pro wrestling. I know there are certain states that are, like New York's very hard on that stuff. I don't know if Minnesota is kind of that same way, but that could have really put this over the top and really helped to cement Oba Femi, especially when you've been billing this as like, or as Michael Cole called it, a rubber match of sorts.
Of sorts.
Yes.
So it is allowed in Minnesota.
It is allowed. So, yeah, I mean, other than maybe Brock didn't want to bleed or WWE didn't think about it, which I can't rule out that they didn't think about it, is there were things they could have done to really put Oba Femi more over the top.
Oba could have bled.
Oba could have bled too as well, but
I would have liked to have seen Oba like take such a punishment and bleed and looking like he's kind of on death's door before making a comeback and winning this match. I think it would have added to it.
yeah. I was also thinking maybe you don't have Oba bleed, but you have Brock bleed. If you really wanted to put over, man, he's just been dominating this guy. Yep. He's the past, and
either one.
Yeah, like either way would have worked fine for me. I wish they did some more cage spots, but they threw in the chairs, which by the way are also sponsored now. So we've got the Slim Jim tables and we have the Wingstop chairs. So that's great. I love my branding. I love my product placements in there. So I'm sure that's getting another cool million into the pockets of TKO executives or whatever. But I overall, like it did what it needed to do. I can't really complain too much about that in terms of its goals. I thought it was a little, again, subtlety bazooka with the WWE where I'm the past, he's the future. I'm the past, he's the future.
Yeah, we could have got it with a handshake and a hug and leaving, and like we didn't have to say it.
You could have like pointed, like pat him on the chest, be like you got this. But I will steal a line from a TV show, and I'll say that I know writers who use subtext, and they're all cowards. I think that's how WWE use their writing. So I mean, it did its job. I think if you were to get that finish over, because these matches have also been quick in the past, if they landed on the wood, had to be more of a bloody affair and was a little bit quicker in terms of getting into spots, I think it would have been a little bit more effective. But for what they were able to do and the idea coming across at the end of the show that this is a guy to keep an eye on for the future, it was the same thing that they did with WrestleMania, but I will digress. But we're focused in now. Oba Femi's a guy. He's somebody to keep an eye on. I think they did their job, and I think that's a good way to end the show.
Yep. And also the cage did its job, that nobody was interfering. Nobody.
Yep.
Like, I hate that we have to give that credit now, because so many cage matches are not that way. But the cage didn't allow anybody else in. No one tried to get in. It was a one-on-one situation. So I guess in our landscape now, you got to give them credit for that. The cage did its job. They were just there. They fought. They won.
Which, if, in all honesty, is sad and pathetic that we have to do that as an accomplishment. But the way that it's being pushed right now, we at least have to acknowledge it. So,
night number 1 ended. I can't remember how long the show was.
Started at 6. I remember it ending around 9, I think. So,
it was past 9 o'clock.
I think it was like 9:15 to 9:30-ish.
Okay.
So
anyway, I will tell you that it, give or take a minute, runtime 1 hour, 26 minutes in 6 matches. And I'm not a mathematician, Zach, but I can tell you that CM Punk and Cody Rhodes made up more than a third of all of the wrestling that happened night 1 of SummerSlam. And to me, not a very good match. So
yeah,
that's a bit disheartening. As long as the show took, it started at 6 and it did end. I swear it was 9:30, but regardless, it's an hour 26 as far as the wrestling in the ring is concerned. To me, that's not enough.
Yep.
That's not enough to go and pay thousands of dollars to go to the crowd. We get this all the time. There's people that will say it's a great crowd because they just saw the camera shots who didn't show the other side of the stadium. They had some of the top tarped off. It's in a huge football stadium. So the fact that they tarp some off, I am not going to kill them for. But you have the negative people, and I texted you one of those. This is worse than Wrestle Rock 85 in Minnesota.
Which I was like, wow, I was not expecting that reference, but I appreciate it.
In the AWA, because it was in Minnesota as well.
Yep.
And the home of the AWA, which was not as well attended as they would have hoped. But man, when you see some of the shots towards the hard cam, there's a couple I think that were put out by Van Vliet or by other people, because now they're in his shot and they're kind of facing the back, and there is nobody on the hard cam side. Depends how you make it look. I thought they made it look like there were more people there than there were.
Looked like a big event show. I mean, that's what these wrestling companies have to do, is to make it look as bigger than what it actually is on TV. So you have to utilize your tricks. Unless you're TNA and your debut episode on AMC, instead you're just going to show a bunch of empty chairs while your celebrities are front row. But if you're with WWE and AEW, yeah, they're going to try and make sure to make it look big. I didn't come away thinking, man, this is a small crowd watching this. This did feel like on TV a big event, but I'm sure if you're there, you're looking around, because I think the tickets distributed were 30 to 35,000, and that's like a 65,000 seat building.
They said 35,759 were in attendance, but it's capable of holding more than 66,000.
Yeah. Shockingly, Lee, no big announcement by a WWE person in the middle of the ring to talk about their attendance record that they broke.
Well, and the fact that they kept using the term capacity crowd.
Yes.
Like, what? Capacity means it's full, no?
Well, what do you define as capacity? Is that the tickets sold as capacity, or?
They kept saying capacity, and I'm like,
yeah.
They're not saying sold out.
Nope.
They're not saying near sold out. They're not having somebody come in and announce attendance in the middle of the ring to a capacity crowd here in Minnesota. Okay.
Yeah.
Really
one other quick note I wanted to mention. Didn't think anything of it at the time, but I read a PW Insider story about it, and now I have to laugh.
Okay.
So before the Nick Aldis-Gunter match, they were showing the fan of the year, which I feel like is a little soon to declare your fan of the year in August, but they declared their fan of the year. So Lee and I, we're out of the running. We're clearly not going to be sponsored by the General in the United States to get our big showcase of, we're fans or whatnot. Mm-hmm. And they show this fan in the corner, thought nothing of it, right? It's like, okay. Right. The only thing I thought of is like, it's a little soon to call a fan of the year at this point in August. There's still two seasons to go. But what it came out in PW Insider is that fan, Lee, turns out he worked for the WWE as their marketing coordinator from 2022 to 2023. So he, of course, gets the fan of the year award.
Why would they even flirt with doing something that stupid?
I don't know. But look, when the General comes calling, save some time, as the General says. Just go through your little database. Like, he used to work here. We need a fan of the year. You want some front row tickets? We need to sell some front row tickets. We already gave some to Van Vliet over there. So we need you to be front row, and we need to get this sponsorship done. So,
all right. So as we look ahead, we are currently 3:34 p.m. on Sunday afternoon. Starting at 6 o'clock will be night 2. Main event's going to be Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship. Penta, Chad Gable for the Intercontinental Championship. We got the 5-way ladder match for the interim WWE Women's Championship. It was nice that Lash Legend beat Julia in 1 minute and 59 seconds. We got the Human Monies on a pole match. And
thank you for saying it and not me. Appreciate that. Yeah,
the winner gets to keep the money that just appeared. Sami Zayn, Finn Balor, Trick Williams, Baron Corbin. I'm hoping to like night 2 more than I liked night 1. What is your official rating of night number 1 of SummerSlam?
Hovering around a 6. I thought there was some stuff that was perfectly fine. Some stuff that annoyed me, as per usual with this company. Michael Cole was absolutely dreadful, horrendous, to the point where he was actually. This is why you need good commentary. And I know I'm biased because I do some commentary on the wrestling side of things, on the independents, so I take it a little bit more seriously.
Yep.
On that stuff. I know others, they could care less. They just mute and then move on with their day. But if you're going to have commentary, you got to be able to put stuff over. And I thought, especially Cole, but Barrett also had some moments where I was like, man, this is rough. And actively impacted my enjoyment of the show, which was not a lot to begin with, but it was certainly impacted it. I thought stuff that needed to get done, they were able to get done with a Hell in a Cell match between Oba Femi and Brock Lesnar. You and I differ on Nick Aldis. I'm sure I'm the low man on Nick Aldis when it comes to the WWE fandom, but I think in terms of the story that they were trying to tell, which by the way, I did get that correct. I'm not going to let you just slide by. You picked Nick Aldis in the last episode and I got it. So yay me. I'm not going to do the Lever Sage victory lap here, go all around the stream.
Well, no, because it's one of 12 matches, Zach. Right. It's not a season-long pool.
No, it's not. If
you know what, we should start that. How about next year at the beginning of 2027? We will write down every single prediction for every major card the entire year, and then the winner will get a prize. How about that?
Oh, I like that. I'd like to think with something like that, it'll show I'm actually not as bad as maybe even I think, but I'm not sure about that. It'll be like, oh, his Jack Perry match analysis is so bad. It's so off. But no, you picked Nick Aldis. I did want to make mention of that because I need to get my W's where they come. So I will take my W there.
Sorry. So did you go perfect on the night?
I picked Liv. I picked Oba. I picked Punk to retain. I did pick Gunter.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember who I picked in the 6-woman tag. Maybe I slightly avoided a pick, but
no, I think you took Fatal Influence. It's the other one. It's the other one that I think you took the Bloodline.
Oh yeah, I think you're right. I think I did pick the Bloodline.
Yeah, which I didn't. So yay me! I picked LA Knight. Yeah.
I'm only mentioning the Nick Aldis stuff because we do have a short out about it right now. So people might be coming in and be like, so how's Lee handling this? And usually I'm not good at oh yeah, Lee was wrong about this, because it's at the end of the day, it's an undercard match. And I'm like,
the same record last night.
Yes, we did.
Which, by the way, neither of us did this. Rich says, my daughter got every match right. Had to buy her a present. And she chose a WWE Intercontinental Championship.
There you go.
So the only problem I have with this entire text is the word had to. What do you mean? Your daughter picks every match right and sitting there watching SummerSlam. You want to buy her an Intercontinental Championship. Fantastic.
Apparently there was a contract signed, Lee. She was able to look over the small print and just, be able to get that. So
MVB Marcus is in, says, what's on the menu for each of you for night number 2? I got 3 pounds of wings marinating. My favorite drink vessel is chilling in the freezer. What do you mean favorite drink vessel?
Vessel's an interesting term.
What does that mean? What are we drinking tonight, Marcus? Some of us don't have to go to work tomorrow. Some of us do. So
I don't put together the schedule.
I know. I'm just saying. So for me, what's on the menu tonight is I have some bacon and cheese infused burgers.
Ooh,
that are going. Yeah, see that are going on the grill tonight. And I have some potato skins that I will be having alongside. So that for Marcus, me is what's on the menu here tonight. See, this is what we need. This is the important information.
Right.
Rye with a splash of ginger in a frosty glass. It's fantastic.
Nice.
Did you say ice or nice?
I said nice.
Oh, okay. It's frosty glass.
It is.
Yeah, you have to do that.
I could have said ice as well. That could have worked.
So for me, I can tell you what's going to go on tonight. I am going to have a beverage or two, but because I'm working in the morning, I'm not going to get carried away. So I will have a cider brought to you by the Ashton Brewing Company.
Nice. A wink and a thumbs up on that.
So I will have a cider, but what I like to do, like Marcus, is I like to put my glass to get a little frosty in the freezer. I also I will mix my cider with ginger beer, which is not an actual beer. It's for people who know ginger beer. It's kind of like a hopped up ginger ale. Got a little bit more oomph, a little bit more kick to it. So I mix that with the cider. And if I'm feeling really, probably my second one, Zach, second and final one tonight, I might pour a little maple syrup in just for a little bit more sweetness. Okay. Don't say I don't come prepared, Marcus. I think at some point we need to get Zach into to find out which like non-alcoholic beer. You've had a couple, but I feel like we need to play with this a little bit. Like we need to get something that at least he's not, yeah, I'll drink it. It was okay. I get a 6 out of 10, like SummerSlam night number 1. I feel like we gotta find something that you actually like. Yeah, I'm looking forward to having that.
Yeah. Look, I'm all for it. I don't drink a lot of non-alcoholic beers, so I'm open.
Rich says the Collective Arts non-alcoholic beer for the win. Okay, I have not had the Collective Arts. I've had the Ashton Brewing Company.
Yes. Ding. We should get like a ding sound effect every time you say it.
I used to, with my former employer, whenever a bell was supposed to be sounded like there, I would play from the Wheatus song, Dirtbag.
Teenage Dirtbag?
Teenage Dirtbag. In the song, they had a "She Rings My Bell," ding. And
there you go.
I literally just took that piece out and we played it. We'd be like, from the Ashton Brewing Company, "She Rings My Bell," ding.
Sounds like something I've got to cook up in the lab when it comes to audio effects.
Rich says they have an IPA, so I'm not an IPA guy at all. Like, no, not happening. But maybe for Zach, maybe he likes a hopped up non-alcoholic.
I am open to any and all.
I bet you Zach doesn't even know really what an IPA is compared to other beers.
That is 100% correct.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm not going to define it right, but an IPA, an India Pale Ale, is something that is a lot more hoppy. It's like the taste of beer, but more than that. And there are different versions of it. Some can taste, they call it a West Coast IPA, tastes piney a little bit. And some people really like that kind of earthy, piney. That's not for me. They do a New England IPA or an East Coast IPA, which is more kind of citrusy, but they're both hoppy. Use a lot of hops in it.
Gotcha.
That is not particularly for me. Marcus says Guinness Zero is the best non-alcoholic beverage I've had. Sober Carpenter beers are okay. I do know our friend who sent me a really nice message today. Gord St. Dennis.
Nice.
And said, can't believe all of the content you guys have ready for SummerSlam weekend.
Right?
He was
neither was I when I was looking at it. He was like, oh boy, this is a lot. But we got through.
It is a lot, but he's very impressed, very happy with all the content. I also know that he gave night 1 a 6 out of 10.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm actually a little surprised about that.
Yeah.
All right.
Pro WWE.
Yeah.
Gord St. Dennis gave it a 6 out of 10. And the reason I bring that up is because Gord is a big Guinness Zero non-alcoholic. But you have to like the
taste of Guinness.
Yeah, but do you even know what Guinness is? Like compared to a beer, it's a beer, but it's a stout. It's
Okay.
It's not like it's dark. It's malty. It doesn't look really or anything taste like a beer. It tastes like a Guinness. You know what I mean? Like
it's its own thing.
Yeah, it's kind of its own thing.
Gotcha. I feel like I got to take my notepad out and get some notes.
Yeah.
Okay, IPA, East Coast is more citrusy.
Yeah. See, there you go. I am more like when I drink beer, I like a little bit more like fruit or flavor. So, say we have at Ashton Brewing Company,
Ding.
we have a she ring my bell. We have a blueberry wheat, which I happen to like. We have a sour that in name only, it's a raspberry. Before I started working there, they hopped on the sour fad train and then ordered about 4,000 labels for this thing, and they don't sell the LCBOs. So it's like, yeah, we might call it something different when we run out of cans, but we ain't running out of cans anytime soon. So it's still a sour to us, but I describe it as a raspberry to people. In fact, Zach, this will not surprise you. Sometimes if I'm ever, employees are not allowed to sit at the bar, but if I'm sitting at the bar in other times, I have mixed half blueberry, half raspberry. Ooh, that's the type of beer drinker that I am, but that isn't for most people.
Right.
In the springtime, we make a maple that's very good as well. And there are other ones that I like, but there's a brewery in Perth called Perth Brewery.
Very, very well named. There you go.
Hey, there's another brewery in Perth that's not called that, so you have to distinguish.
There you go.
But they do like big flavors, and I like their beer too, because when they do a maple beer, it's a really mapley beer. It's not a subtle maple beer. When they do, they have a honey. They make their own honey, and they put it in, and you literally taste honey at the end of it, as compared to other people who like the subtle. They do big flavors. I like the big flavors, but tonight will be a cider mixed in with some ginger beer, maybe some maple syrup. If I'm feeling sweet tonight after SummerSlam night 2. I was right around that number 2. I do think, I think the show opened and closed decently. So I look at the totality of the show. I go, Liv Morgan, Io Sky was, as the night went on, I said this at the beginning, as the night went on, that match got better.
Yes.
Because of what we saw previously. So Liv Morgan, Io Sky, I thought closed the show or opened the show very well. And I think it was the right decision to have Oba and Brock close the show. And they did what they were supposed to do. It wasn't the greatest Hell in a Cell match ever by any stretch, but all the things that needed to be checked off got checked off in this. That Oba won. There was no interference. Brock put Oba over afterwards. All of those things should have happened. They did happen. You got to give them credit for it. And I didn't mind the Gunther Nick Aldis match. In fact, for me, the entrance from Nick Aldis, what's the story, Morning Glory, coming out, the emotion from him, I thought it was pretty good. So it was kind of like 1, 3, and 6 were decent. 2, 4, and 5, not so good. Which does land me right around, just to be a little bit different, and just to be have a little bit more credibility. I'm gonna go 5-9.
All right, there you go.
You and Gord are going 6, but you know what? You guys are too easy. You're easy markers, and I'm going 5-9.
Yes, me, notoriously easy marker.
Yep,
I'm somebody that goes in there, and all the AEW fans of all they've ever done is agree with my picks. That's absolutely the case.
I'm going to say that night 2 will be better than night number 1.
I hope so, Lee.
I know. but Penta Gable can't be horrible. It can't be.
Yeah.
Sami Zayn, Finn Balor, I am expecting them. I hope that they can get to another level. I don't know if they can. I know we make fun of the human monies on a poll. You don't want anybody else to walk in while you're watching that's not a wrestling fan. I feel like they're going to be able to make it somewhat entertaining. And I'm kind of holding out hope that unless they do something, is there an attack backstage and Stephanie Vicker gets into the match? If she does, I think that's good. I would like to see it. If not, I would not hate Chelsea Green winning. That would be a good moment for me. And then the other question would be, before we let you go, Zach, before we hit, literally came into this, I'm like, okay, we can do this in under an hour because there's another one coming. And now it's like 5 minutes away from 2 hours.
Yeah, I was going to say, maybe you misspoke and meant under 2 hours.
Right. My question would be, like, surprises, what you think might happen tonight. The big one for me would be, is Kevin Owens coming back. He's been hanging around a lot lately, making himself known that he is around. Do we see him in the Sami Zayn Finn Balor match?
I could see it. Now I am just leveraging off of the reports that Kevin Owens seems to be just waiting for his opportunity to come in and be on the show in some capacity. So I do think we'll get a Kevin Owens appearance at some point, probably in that Sami Zayn match. Would it shock me if he shows up in the Roman Seth match, similar to what we saw with Orton, where they're setting up a program with somebody afterwards? It wouldn't shock me in that either. So I'm kind of hopeful, because I'd much rather see Kevin Owens come back than I do Randy Orton. Your hopes are much higher than mine when it comes to this night, because I think you're leaning on the main event, likely of Rollins and Reigns, which I think should be good. And the Gable Penta match should be good. We'll see. I'm not as high up on Balor and Zayn. If this was 2014, I'd be way higher up, but it's 2026. I'm more looking at the other matches where some of that could be worse than what we saw first night. Like, I do not have high expectations for the Monies on a Pole match, the human money.
They have done a decent job, other than the Danhausen concert with Joe Hendry and Ryan Garcia and all that stuff. They've done a decent job at making Danhausen fairly entertaining. So, yeah, the type of match is hilariously bad.
Yes.
But will it be somewhat entertaining? And I think the other question would be, tonight, do we see the Vision? Do we see Logan Paul? Do we see Braun Breaker? Do we see Bronson Reed? Austin Theory, tag team champions, Maxine? Like, they're just not here. Do we see them? And I have to ask, do we see them in the main event?
Can't rule it out. Can't rule it out.
Are we really just going all weekend with not seeing Braun Breaker and Austin Theory and Maxine and like the kind of the new group Vision? We're going all weekend without seeing them?
Can't rule it out.
Is that a yes, Zach?
Can't rule it out.
All right.
That's what, like, I'm just looking at, like, the low end could be so low here, Lee. Like Trick Williams and Baron Corbin.
You're non-committal. Baron Corbin's all right.
Trick Williams and Baron Corbin, I don't know.
Rich says, told the kids if they got more picks than daddy, I'd buy them a gift. My daughter and wife both got more picks than me, and they knew at least out of the 4 adults, 1 teen, and 3 kids. Very nice. I want you to know that every person in the house popped when they said that they were going to sell Danhausen human monies. 100% buying. Zach, you can buy them. The monies.
I saw that advertisement.
The human monies. You can buy the human monies.
Yeah. Do you think that's legal tender at the Go-Go Club here in Belleville, or is that
Zach, you're going to get me in trouble, like, with comments that I'm going to say after this. So, like, you can't set me up like that. Come on.
Not committal there, Lee. Yes.
No, it's just like,
can't rule it out.
I can't rule it out. Rich also a bit disappointed. If you're pushing the women's division, how come I can't buy my daughter a toy other than an action figure She watches her favorite wrestlers, Tiffany Stratton specifically. Yep, it's terrible.
Yep.
Like, it's ridiculous that they don't have stuff out the same for the women that they do the men. To me, there's just no good reason for it. All right, Zach, 20 seconds away from the 2-hour mark. So, come on, one thought going into tonight. One thought, quickly.
I hope it's better than night one.
That's it. Nothing specific.
Lee, look at this ladder match. Look at Trick Williams and Baron Corbin. Look at the human monies on a pole match. Lee, come on. Like, you're looking at the highs, but I'm like, Lee, look at these lows that could potentially come out of this show. I know I'm a cynic guy, and
there's
but come on, man. Like,
there's a lot of intrigue with Roman and Seth. The history, what can happen. You'd hope that they cook up something decent.
Yeah.
Penta and Gable can't be bad. To me, Danhausen's almost always been entertaining, other than the first time they ever brought him out. How he even recovered from that, I'm not sure, but he has. And then this concert with Joe Hendry was abominable. But other than that, he's been fairly entertaining. And I like Sami Zayn and Finn Balor. And I'm probably going to give them the benefit of the doubt more than they deserve in the year of our Lord 2026. So I'm not going to turn away when they come out, and I'm going to hope that they can do something. So, all right, night 2 in about 2 hours from now. It starts. We very much appreciate you listening and being a part of the review of night number 1. I was a little bit tougher than Zach. I gave it a 5.9. Zach gave it a 6. So for Zach McGibbon, I'm Lee Versage. Thanks for listening to another edition of This is Wrestling.